All right, guys, today we're going to talk about how to save you thousands of dollars by winterizing your house the correct way. First way is starting off with your air conditioning system. Now, not a lot of people realize then when negotiating a home sale, your heating and your cooling systems are some of the biggest things that we see buyers get discounts for and sellers lose some money. So let's jump in on how to save you some money this winter. So when you think about an air conditioner, if you go down south, these things are probably running for 9 to 12 months out of the year. Up here in the Northeast, they're running for 2 months. So you think they would last, 3-4 times longer up here, but they don't. The reason for that isn't usage, it's the seasons. And what happens with these, they get less effective, these fans right here, because what happens is snow falls onto this, then it melts, it turns to water, turns to snow again, and then it turns to ice, and they form icicles on the blades. And what happens is it can weigh them down and make them unaligned, just make them not work as efficiently. Now when it's spinning, the fan's a little wobbly, and over time it quickly becomes less efficient. So your inspector looks through the property and he says, hey, I know these things last 8 to 15 years. It's kind of like saying a car lasts anywhere from 180 to 280,000 miles. There's a big gap. And he says, this one is really old. It's on its last leg. I don't know how it's going to work much longer. All of a sudden, you have the ability to go to the seller and say, hey, look at our report. He's saying this thing isn't going to last much longer, and it's like an $8,000 fix. We want $8,000 off the price. That gives you pretty good negotiating power. When you have an 8-year-old air conditioning system and your inspector looks at it and says, it's 8 years old, this thing's in pristine condition, it's a lot harder to negotiate that money off. An owner can just say, yeah, I know it's on the older side, but it works perfectly and it should continue to work perfectly for you. So how do we protect this thing? First thing, don't just cover it, okay? Some of the covers I've heard from electricians who work on these that they can do more harm than good. And the reason for that is electronics give off heat, even a little bit of heat. So that's gonna make a great little area for mice to go, and then they like to be near the heat, and then they chew through your cords and you have electrical problems and you have to hire the electrician to fix your AC at the beginning of the season. So what you wanna do is you wanna keep this thing cold, windy, but you don't want to let ice and snow build up. So the simplest way is get one of these. I'll put one to the side right here, but it's a cover. You can even grab a piece of wood and just throw it on top here, but make sure you have a rock or something heavy on it so it doesn't move. But just a simple cover like this one that doesn't cover the sides. It lets heat escape. Wind can be on the side here. This is totally fine for wind to go through there. Keep it not such a pleasant climate for critters, and keep this thing lasting a lot longer, saving you money at the closing table. Another very important thing is checking on all your faucets, your outdoor water faucets. I shut mine off from the inside and I open them up here to make sure all the water drips out, and just make sure that this baby can get nice and cold all winter long, and the water is inside the house, far away from the exterior. These, the kind I have, and probably you have if you have a newerish built house, these are frost proof. It actually shuts off inside, which is pretty impressive, but I have an auto shut off inside. I still just shut it off. The other thing when it comes to water and this type of stuff, your sprinklers, your sprayers, you want to make sure those, you shake them, get the water out of them. I had one last year that was hooked up to a hose still. I thought I emptied all the water out of the hose, and what happened was some water got into the sprayer, and what happened, it sat in my shed, it turned to ice expanded, and it cracked one of my favorite sprayers. So I felt like a dummy because I had to order the same one, and it was like a $30 nice sprayer. So don't make the same mistake I did. Make sure all the water is cleared out of your hose, and the sprayers and your sprinklers. All right, now the last thing we're gonna look at is your doors. Now, doors, it is really easy for them to have cracks up top, space where air can sneak in, right? So one thing I do is just bring your hand, you can go to your doors and just run across it slowly and see if you feel any air coming through. Now, if you feel cold air blasting through, which is easy to feel that this time of year, if you find any, that's a spot where it's basically like an air conditioner just cooling off your house and wasting your good heat that you're paying a lot of money for. So if you find anything like that, I'll put another little link here to some of the stuff that you can get on Amazon, but there's all different sizes. I'd recommend ordering a bunch because you never know exactly what size you're gonna need. Every door is a little different, but there's lots of great weather stripping. It's called weather stripping, lots of different kinds, and you know, purchasing that is probably worth the value long term because it just keeps that warm air in your house and keeps the cold air from coming in. So those are your big 3 things for now. Weather stripping, taking care of that expensive AC unit, and also making sure all the water's shut off so you don't have any accidents with water in the spring. So I hope you guys have a good rest of your winter, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.